we were discussing this seminar by His Holiness Kadam Kanan Swami Maharaj. So we're discussing that how Maharaj talks about 3 levels, and level 1 he talks about level of institution, level 2 he talks about the perfect process, and level 3 he talks about divine intervention. So we were discussing how that at level of a Kanishta, he has access only to this level of institution. So Kanishta Adhikari, he becomes more attracted to the external aspects of institution. And even if he wants to go deep, he has no taste for the process. But at level of institution, because it is in touch with material energy, so there will be good side also and there will be bad side also. It will have dual aspect because it is connected with the material energy. So we see that this material aspect, we see that there will be some challenges, some problems, some achievements. But those who are Kanistha, Prakarta, Bhakta, and they are more concerned with this aspect. They are more concerned with material energy. And they can relate only to the external form of Sankirtan movement. But this is the external form. Real substance is the perfect process. And we were discussing how there are many places where we see occasional practices, where we see crores of people coming, like now Kumbh Mela. But then these practices, they may give piety, but they cannot help one to have love of Godhead. And that's why Srila Prabhupada wanted that we should have consistent spiritual practices. But he, knowing that in Kali Yuga it may be difficult for all of us, so that's why he majorly emphasized and focused on 5 main potent forms of bhakti, Panchang Bhakti, that he focused more on. So this we were discussing about how these 5 are center of ISKCON activities. So this is a real substance and this is transcendental. And this remains equally powerful for any person who wants to access. It is not withered by time. It is eternal, completely pure. It is accessible to any sincere soul, regardless of time, place, or circumstances. And it is the process which gives life to the devotees and to the society. And those are Madhyamadhikari, they are absorbed in the substance, that is the perfect process of devotional service. Kanishtadhikaris, they are absorbed in the external form, that is institution. They are more concerned, who became president, what happened to him, which temple is having which kind of facilities, and how they are good in these things. So they focus more on the external aspect. Whereas the Madhyamadhikari is more concerned about the perfect process, how devotees chant here, how devotees are eager to hear Krishna Katha. That is Madhyamadhikari. Madhyamadhikari has this faith that by following a life of bhakti, all good things will happen. Shraddha Sabde Vishwas Kahe, Sudrida Nishchay, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarv Karm Krit Hai. He has that faith that if I perform devotion service of Lord and Sarv Karm Krit Hai, everything else will happen. He depends on Krishna's mercy and as a result feels closely connected to this mercy at any time. Therefore, he is blissful and inspired devotee. He also has his struggles with material desires, but is firmly convinced that such desires lead to no benefit and therefore he does not pursue them. So, see, he also gets affected by material desires, but he knows that they are not good and he does not want to pursue them, he does not want to maintain them. This is a sign of a sincere devotee. He will have conditioned nature, he will have material desires, he will have anarthas, but now he has understood that they are not good for me and I want to come out of it. And he is sincerely trying his best to come out of it. The external fluctuations might make him unhappy, but it cannot break his dedication to the practice of devotion service. So the success and failure in the services, the sometimes some managerial issues or some lack of facilities, it may affect him to some extent, but they cannot break his dedication to practice devotional service. So that is how the Madhyamadikari is. So he knows the actual purpose of this substance is the opportunity to be engaged in this practice of devotional service. That he knows. Otherwise, we see that how during Bhakti Saraswati Thakur also, when Bagh Bazaar temple was made, and they became so concerned about having a room which is facing towards Ganga. And Bhakti Saraswati Thakur mood was that how, if required, we can sell all the marble. Let us distribute books. So he was seeing the main purpose of the institution is distribution and the preaching. Same way, Srila Prabhupada also, he says, for us, preaching is more important. And temples are made so that the preaching can be enhanced. Otherwise, in some places we can preach without temples. Prabhupada never encouraged. Prabhupada said, it is a lot of management comes when temple comes. Prabhupada wanted more preaching to happen, not that we should have more temples. But because temples create a facility to have more preaching, that's why Srila Prabhupada, he encouraged having temples and things like that. So we see that how those who are Madhyamadikaris, they are more concerned about this, that how the perfect process can be practiced, how devotees can come together, chant, how devotees can understand. And for that purpose, they may have institutional facilities. Like His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he had told devotees we should have central AC in the temple hall. Those days, no ISKCON temple had central AC. All devotees are worrying and they were saying, Maharaj, why to have AC like this? Maharaj said, no, 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 it is important to have AC. And then the AC somehow was installed. And then Maharaj would give 3 4 hour long classes. And in between, in the AC, they will spray some lemon flavor, some orange flavor. Devotees would feel little happy to smell it. And then Maharaj would continue. So the purpose of that was so that they can come and without getting disturbed, take more absorbed shelter of Sharanam and Kirtanam. Like that. We see the whole purpose is of the institution is to uh, facilitate these angas of bhakti, these 5 potent form of bhakti, like this. So this is how Madhyamadikari is. He focuses on this perfect process. We see in life of Srila Prabhupada, wherever he went, whichever facility he got, he engaged that facility in the service of the Lord. In one way, this Yukta Vairagya principle was spoken by Rup Goswami, but was exemplified by Bhakti Sansari Thakur and more by Srila Prabhupada. Like we hear in case of Bhakti Sansari Thakur, he brought that printing press from England. And we see Prabhupada staying in costly guest houses when he was in Holland. And that time, the most expensive guest house was booked for Prabhupada. And Prabhupada asked, which is this place? And then Burjan Prabhu, that time he said, Prabhupada, here recently only that famous actor came, he also stayed here. Prabhupada said, is this the best place to stay here? Yes, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada says, go and call all the reporters that one Swami has come and he is staying in this guest house. Prabhupada could connect that now when people will hear Swami is staying in such an expensive guest house, many reporters will come. So Prabhupada always engaged what he got in the service of the Lord. He exemplified Yukta Vairagya principle. But inside the guest house also he is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But those who are Kanishta, they have a tendency to get more affected by the institution. Suppose no, we are given such a guest house. Will be able to chant? They'll say, Prabhu, iska bathroom dekho. Prabhu, iska bed dekho. Prabhu. Our so much time will go in figuring out what is what, is it not? And it may not be easy for us to chant. But those are great souls, they can do like this. And as far as perfect process is concerned, then there are no faults. They are eternal process and they remain pure process. They are beyond the dualities of the material world because they are the transcendental process. So no matter what happens materially, nothing can happen when it comes to taking shelter of the holy name. Nothing can happen when it comes to taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we do see, like you'll find for some time, as Kirtanam Swami Maharaj was out of ISKCON, and His Holiness Radhanam Swami Maharaj was serving under him. So he was also out of ISKCON. But in Chapati, Maharaj was centered around Saranam, Kirtanam. So although they were outside ISKCON, but whole community was flourishing. Everyone was very happy also. Why? Because although institutionally some ups and downs were coming, but Maharaj's focus was Saranam and Kirtanam. Same way, because of some issues, because institution, management, many parameters they come. So you'll be surprised at one time, His Holiness Radhagovind Swami Maharaj also was removed from ISKCON. And then you see the beauty of Maharaj. He went to villages of Bihar and he kept giving kathas, village after village, village after village, village after village. And then Jayapataka Maharaj and some more sannyasis, they were given Bihar to preach. And they were coming village to village. Any village they would enter, they would see devotees wearing dhoti kurta, tilak. They were surprised that who preached here? And then they would ask him कि आप कौन हैं, कैसे, किसने आपको ये सब किया? अरे हमारे गुरुजी हैं राधा गोविंद स्वामी महाराज, हमारे गुरुजी हैं राधा गोविंद स्वामी महाराज. So then they had a meeting and they told इनको वापस ले लीजिए. So you'll find great shows, they don't get affected by institutional ups and downs. They may happen because of certain region, certain situation. They are more centered about Saranam Kirtan. They are more centered around pleasing Srila Prabhupada, like this. And wherever devotees they stay, if they focus on the perfect process, institution can manifest. The facilities can manifest. But if devotees focus on institution, the process will not manifest. But if we focus on process, institution can manifest. And Mahanidhi Swami Maharaj was given, Srila Prabhupada had told him, you can make some temple in Gujarat. And long time passed, and Maharaj was more focused on Bhagavatam. He would not recite, he would sing the verses of Bhagavatam. Whenever he would give Bhagavatam classes, he would have Kartal, and whenever Bhagavatam verse would come, he would sing that. So he was so absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam. And actually, when he had joined ISKCON, so he was not like very charismatic leader. So the temple president, and he was little aged. So temple president thought, what service to give him. So temple president told him, whole day you be in temple hall and read Bhagavatam for Lord's pleasure. So he would sit in the temple hall and read Bhagavatam for Lord's pleasure. And then once one festival was organized and he had called some speaker from outside to speak. Somehow that speaker could not come. And this temple president, being busy with management, he was not prepared. So he thought whom to ask to give this class. And then he remembered this guy just keeps reading Bhagavatam. He can speak something. So then he requested, and when Maharaj spoke, everyone was so happy to hear. Then Maharaj became Maharaj. And so then he had some disciples. So once he told all his disciples that I'm thinking that we should make some temple. We should construct a temple. All disciples became very happy. Jai, our Guru Maharaj, first time he's saying about constructing a temple. And they said, yes, Maharaj, which city we should go? And Maharaj, we will make live patrons. Maharaj, we will collect funds and we'll make temple. I said, not like this. You come with me. They went with Maharaj and they came to one place and there was one river. On the bank of river, Maharaj told, we can make a tent here. Tent. The next day morning, after morning program, Maharaj started speaking on Bhagavatam. And 1 day passed, 2 day passed, 3 day passed, 4 day passed. All disciples who came, they were wondering, are we making temple or what we are doing? We came here to make a temple. So one disciple asked Maharaj, you told us that we will go and make some temple, and here we whole day are reading Bhagavatam only. For making temple, we have to collect funds. We have to go and cultivate people. Then Maharaj said, everything will happen. Are we doers? Krishna is doer. If we are taking shelter of Krishna, will he not help us? Yes, Maharaj. Yes. Then he said, and that time only there was one lady. She had made beautiful marble temple already of Radha Krishna, and she was dying. So before dying, she told her son that you should hand over this temple to that person who is attached to Bhagavatam. And this son was searching for a person who is attached to Bhagavatam. And when he came to near this place, somebody told him that one Swami has come and whole day he's reading Bhagavatam only. So then he came and he handed over key to the Manidi Maharaj. And Maharaj told disciples, Chale? Temple is constructed. Like that. I think Rajkot mostly. And that is Rajkot temple. Gujarat. We see that how these devotees they have that faith in the perfect process. The way you see Prabhupada, no matter what happened, so many court cases, not in India, in America, Prabhupada handled by taking shelter of holy name and Bhagavatam. Right? Court cases in America, can you imagine? And Prabhupada says, don't worry, you read Bhagavatam. And devotees also had faith in words of Prabhupada. And judge asked, so what do you have to say? And then he started reading verse by verse. What is this? How long you will speak? He said, I have whole 12 cantos like this to speak. Then he told, wait. Then the judge called one of his friend who had done studies in Harvard on Bhagavatam. And he asked, is ISKCON a bona fide religion? So his friend told him, yes, ISKCON is a bona fide religion. Then judge passed a statement, ISKCON is a bona fide religion. And all happened by taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Like that. We see great souls, they have this. Uh, many times, like His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrita Swami Maharaj, from long time he's preaching in Belgaum. And till now there is no temple. So many times the devotees would tell Maharaj, we should make a temple. And Maharaj would tell them, see, if you want to make a temple, you have to go out, collect funds, cultivate people, and then we'll not be able to take shelter of holy name and Bhagavatam. I don't want that to happen. We are happy in this teen set. So they have made a temple hall which is like a platform. Teen set is there and long like a platform station. And now they are starting. Finally, like that. So why? Because Maharaj was concerned that devotee should chant, read here. That is more important. That should not be taken away. So that is one sign of Madhyamadikaris that they are more concerned about the process, that chanting the holy names of the Lord, reading about Krishna, hearing about Krishna. If one gets more caught up by the institutional aspect and gives up taking shelter of Sharam, Kirtanam and all, then the whole purpose is taken away. Building is not a temple. There may be an external temple, but if these activities are not happening, that is not a temple. Externally, there may be a building, but these things are happening, that is a temple. And that's how we see Srila Prabhupada took houses only in West and he made it temple. And that was the argument between this Padamgat Singhania. He said, Swamiji, temple means dome should be there, this should be there, that should be there. Prabhupada would say, Arey, whatever we are getting here, main thing is Sarnam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So you see that essence who took, Srila Prabhupada took. Otherwise, in India also, they have ritualistic understanding of being, of having a temple. Is it not? Temple means, Garudji should be there, Jai Vijay should be there, Dome should be there, this should be there, that should be there. But you see how Prabhupada made temples in the West. Storefronts, lots, whatever place he got, is it not? Why? Because he was more focused on these activities. And Prabhupada wanted each temple, like Vrindavan, when he had a temple, Prabhupada said, I want 24-hour Kirtan here. Actually, to say like this is not easy. Which temple is having 24-hour Kirtan, you tell me? Very difficult. Right? And some temples, some places, even if you see 24-hour Kirtan, one person would be sitting and he will be singing. Right? Like we see in Haridas Thakur Samadhi or some place. But which temple you see where with love and devotion, harmonium, mridanga, kartal, and very sweet singing? Very difficult. Prabhupada said, I want 24-hour Kirtan like that. And same thing he wanted in Mayapur, 24-hour Kirtan like that. Why? Because Prabhupada wanted his temples to be centered around these things. Same way you will find our 6 artis which happen. All artis are accompanied by Kirtan. Right? If somebody says in temple hall only, then you will find so much Sarvanam Kirtan will happen for him. Because Prabhupada has designed the whole temple programs like that. So we see that those who are Madhyamadikari, they can understand this, they can value this. You see, His Holiness Sachinanda Swami Maharaj and His Grace Burjan Prabhu, they made the GRC. For what purpose? So that devotees can come and there can be discussion on taking shelter of holy name, taking shelter of Krishna. Like now Burjan Prabhu is taking a seminar. The name of seminar is Alone with Krishna uh, in GRC. Same way now Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj also has made one in Govardhan. And purpose is taking shelter of the holy name and Bhagavatam like that. I'm also going to one of the seminar which Maharaj is taking in April. Very beautiful, because the whole purpose is how devotees can think about Krishna, meditate on Krishna, can become more absorbed in spiritual life like that. So we see that those are Madhyamadikaris, they have this, that they are more attached to the perfect process. And then is divine intervention. He is quoting one verse. Avati Nagara Chandre Vistine Prema Sagare Suparakakshita Ratnage Yodine Dine E.A.S.Y. The advent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is just like an expanding ocean of nectar. One who does not collect the valuable jewels within this ocean is certainly the poorest of the poor. Very beautiful, no? He's saying the advent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is just like an expanding ocean of nectar. And one who does not collect the jewels within this ocean is certainly the poorest of poor. So, this is the deepest level of our movement, the underlying reality. That behind it all, there is Lord Chaitanya. He's saying this is the deepest level of reality, that whatever is happening behind all is Lord Chaitanya. Like when we went to Kumbh, like I was telling that how, because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see all Hori Dhams are manifesting again. Because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see that how people are now appreciating their own culture, their own Sanskriti. Even people are saying that previously people were afraid to expose themselves as Hindu or expose themselves as followers of Sanatan Sanskriti. But now they are not having that shame. They are proud of it. They are happy about it. So how this is happening? Because of Lord Chaitanya. He is actually the one spreading the holy name in every town and village. See, Lord Chaitanya is choosing Yogi to be CM, Modi to be PM. He is choosing, how 144 now Mahakumbh has come. He's, as a super soul, is inspiring. So much crowd is coming. Still, somehow, everyone's heart is getting pulled. Jana hai, jana hai, jana hai. So, how this inner inspiration is coming? Because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like that. So he's saying his desire and mercy is what pushes this movement forward. For most of us, this reality remains hidden. We may not see it, but what can we really see? The world is moved and shaped by forces beyond our perception, forces beyond our control. But know for sure that in this age, the influence of Lord Chaitanya is the strongest force in the universe. Like this. So everything is happening by the will and desire and mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And we have to see and connect to that mercy of Lord Chaitanya beyond superficial institutional aspect and beyond the challenges which we are facing in taking shelter of the perfect process. We have to know that there is Lord Chaitanya who is there. Sometimes we may feel little disheartened. I'm chanting, but I'm not getting that taste. I'm trying to practice, but I'm not able to practice so better. But we should have hope, asa bandh. Hope is Lord Chaitanya is there. If I take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, then their mercy is my hope. In construction, one of the main problem is maintaining a building is water. Even if there is only a very fine crack, practically as thin as a hair, water will surely find its way in and through seepage, penetrate the entire building. Yet on the outside, one might never even see a thing. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya's mercy is imperceptibly seeping through the entire universe, creeping into the tiniest openings to flood the world with love of God. Very nice example is giving. So this who can see? This Uttam Adhikari can see the divine presence of the Supreme Lord. So this is Uttam Adhikari which is mentioned, that who is expert in logic and in understanding the revealed scriptures, who always has firm conviction and deep faith, and he is considered a topmost devotee. So he can see the divine presence of the Lord. Uttam Adhikari lives on this level in a direct relationship with the Supreme Lord. In a stage of Ruchi, the Lord becomes the emotional focus, overshadowing any material considerations. This emotional focus gradually matures to the stage of Prema. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written in Madhurya Kadambini, when the materialistic aspect of Ahanta and Mamta is extremely deep, one remains in the cycle of birth and death. Means if this concept is deep, I and mine, then he remains in the cycle of birth and death. When a causeless particle of faith develops and one thinks of becoming a Vaishnava, serving the Lord, Ahanta and Mamta become slightly spiritualized and the Jiva becomes qualified for devotion service. At this stage of Sadhu Sangha, the tinge of spiritualization becomes more concrete. At the stage of Anisthit Bhajan Kriya, the spiritualization is localized in one place, whereas the material aspect is in full force. At the stage of Nishtha, spiritualization becomes more pervasive and the material influence decreases somewhat. So he's saying there is a material influence, there is a spiritual influence. As we grow through the stages, the spiritual influence increases, material influences decreases. But at level of the sadhu sangha, spiritual influence is less and material influence is more. At the stage of ruchi, spiritualization of me and mine becomes dominant, and the material aspect becomes localized. At the stage of asakti, the spiritual aspect becomes complete, and material aspect becomes a trace. At the stage of bhava, the spiritual aspect becomes thorough and material aspect becomes a shadow, occasionally appearing. And at the stage of prema, only spiritual aspect, material aspects becomes absent. At the stage of bhajan kriya, meditation on the Lord is mixed with other topics and is temporary. So at the stage of bhajan kriya, when we try to meditate on the Lord, then it is not exclusive and pure meditation on the Lord. It is mixed and it is temporary, right? At the stage of Nishtha, meditation on the Lord has a trace of other topics. At the stage of Ruchi, other topics are absent and meditation is long lasting. So, when our chanting will be fully absorbed at level of Ruchi. At the stage of Asakti, meditation becomes deep. So, at the stage of Asakti, you will be like, like that. अभी ऐसा हो गया प्रभु. Uh, During bhava by meditation, the Lord appears in the mind. When you are at bhava, then Lord will be darshan. Achieving prema along with the appearance of the Lord in the mind, there is a direct association with the Lord. When you achieve prema, Lord will appear. The Uttamadhikari develops an inclination towards Antaranga Seva, service according to one's eternal spiritual identity. So at level of Bhava, one comes to know about his Swarupa and also comes to know about his service and also comes to know about his Lord. So it is mentioned that Uttamadhikari develops an inclination towards his Antaranga Sakti, the eternal service which he does to the Lord. In the stage of Prema, the Siddha Deha is fully developed. By the Prema stage, your soul has taken the shape of a Siddha Deha, your actual eternal form. And he becomes a Parsad devotee of the Lord, one who is present in the pastimes of the Lord. Like that. At level of Bhava, you come to know who you are, what is your relationship with the Lord, who the Lord is, and at level of Prema, soul has taken that form like this. So these are three stages. So first is institution, that is Kanistha Adhikari, that is Sambandha, that is the way to connect to the process. Then perfect process, that is Madhyama, that is Abhidhe, and then divine intervention, that is Uttama, that is Kriyojan. So Sambandha means by the help of the institution, we get connected to the process. Then we become attached to the process, and then that process helps us to develop Prayojan. So now the neophyte and the Sambandha. So neophyte means he will worship the deity in the temple but does not behave properly towards the devotee in general. He is known as a Prakarta Bhakta, a materialistic devotee. Encouraging the connection. The most important thing for the neophyte is Sambandha, strengthening his connection. His connection with what? With a simple and pure process of hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna in the association of Krishna's devotees. So we may have at the neophyte level, we may not so much value devotees. We may not so much appreciate and understand the devotees. We may not so much value relationship with devotees. But what we should do is we should try to be in association of devotees and take more shelter of hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Then we will slowly understand the importance of devotees. Sambandha is developed in the first four stages of bhakti. So this Sambandha is developed in the first four stages of bhakti. The first is Shraddha. The more we hear about Krishna and the process of bhakti, the more our faith increases. It is very simple. Hearing gives us knowledge, removing the doubts and ignorance that weaken our determination. The more we hear at level of Shraddha, the more our faith increases. Hearing gives knowledge, removes the doubts and ignorance that weakens our determination. Then Sadhu Sangha. In the association of devotees, we will find the inspiration and opportunity to engage in devotional service. Regulated worship, bhajan kriya. Through regular association, we gain the strength to fix devotional service in our lives. Through regulation and vows, more and more we should mold our lives. So, bhajan kriya means through regular association, we gain the strength to fix our devotional service. So, Srila Prabhupada letter is following the regulative principles strictly, chanting 16 rounds daily, and always think of Krishna. In this way, mold your life and future, you will be bright. So, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajan Kriya, then Anarth Nivarti. By regular hearing, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. Loving service to the Lord is established as an irrevocable fact. As these impurities diminish, our entrance to the Madhyama platform starts to open up. So this after Nartanivarti Nishtha. Nishtha is that platform of Madhyamadikari. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita it comes. If by good fortune a living entity develops faith in Krishna, he begins to associate with devotees. When one is encouraged in devotional service by the association of devotees, one becomes free from all unwanted contamination by following the regulative principles of chanting and hearing. When one is freed from all unwanted contamination, he advances with firm faith. When firm faith in devotion service awakens, a taste for hearing and chanting also awakens. So, as these material impurities will go away, that much our faith will increase, and that much taste for reading and hearing also will increase. So, this is how one can increase his sambandha, and he goes more closer to abhideya, he goes more closer to the madhyama level. Then, now the dedicated practitioner and abhideya, where it is mentioned. Uh, the Madhyamadikari is making a very serious effort to become purified from anarthas and to increase his attachment to Krishna. He has firm faith in the process of devotional service and is properly situated in regular practices of sadhana and service. His focus is on Nishtha. His mind is firmly fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna. Save mana Krishna padaravindayo. So now, when someone has come to Nishtha, then his practices become very intense. Now he is very focused. He has firm faith, nothing else. I just want to practice spiritual life. Madhyam Adhikari is distinguished from Kanishta by how he treats people. Madhyam Adhikari will have a lot of respect for devotees, will have a nice relationship with devotees, will value devotees. He sees that everyone is connected to Krishna. Therefore, naturally, he gives proper respect in dealing to all devotees. We must know how to respect a devotee, how to do some service to others also. This is Madhyamadikari. Simply, if you become satisfied, oh, now I am initiated, I am offering Archana, I have become perfect. No, perfection is still awaiting. You have to understand who is a devotee. You have to understand how to give service to the innocent. If you do not know that, if you simply become packed up by Archana Vigra Seva, then you will remain in the material platform. न तद न तद भक्तेषु चानेषु च भक्तः प्रकृत स्मृतः. Prakarta means material. He is trying to go to the spiritual platform, but if he simply remains in the archana and does not preach, this is na tad bhaktesu charneshu. Anyesu means those who are innocent. Prabhupada is highlighting two things are very important. One is how we deal with the devotees and how we try to preach. These two things will help us to come from Kanishta to Madhyama. Of course, there is no loss. In any adhikar, in any position, you are benefited because you have taken to devotional service. But our attempt should be from Kanistha to Madhyama. Madhyama adhikari means preacher. Unless one comes to Madhyama adhikari, he cannot preach. Because in Uttama adhikari, there is no need of preaching. Because Uttama adhikari, he sees everything good. So, as mentioned previously, the focus in ISKCON is this missionary spirit where people sacrifice everything for that common goal. This is how the Madhyam Adhikari he preaches, he values devotees, he serves devotees, and like this, then he comes to the level of Uttama, and he is very intense in his practices. So, three things are mentioned: intense in practices, good in relationships, and preacher. So now he comes to level of Uttamadikari. Uttama is deeply attracted to Krishna and is fully inspired in his service to Krishna. He does not want to waste even a moment. Therefore, it can be practically understood that anyone who enthusiastically adopts Krishna conscious program, eagerly participates in the preaching activities of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, is acting on the platform of Madhyam Adhikari devotee. And such a devotee becomes overwhelmed by his desire to serve Krishna and associate with the Lord, so much so that he is not attracted to anything else within the universe. He should be understood to be an Uttamadhikari Vaishnava. Uttamadhikari cannot be disturbed. The sun is far above the planetary systems, and there is no possibility of its being covered by any kind of cloud. Similarly, when a devotee is purified like the sun, from his pure heart there is diffusion of ecstatic love, which is more glorious than the sunshine. Only at that time is the attachment to Krishna perfect. Spontaneously, the devotee becomes eager to serve Lord in his ecstatic love. At this stage, the devotee is on the platform of Uttam Adhikari, perfect devotion. Such a devotee has no agitation from material affections and is interested only in the service of Radha and Krishna. We see even Prabhupada when he was about to leave his body. So, although he became very weak, although he was not able to eat anything, but we see how Prabhupada still was so Krishna conscious. Can you imagine translating Shrimad Bhagavatam that time also? Means he was not affected by the bodily level. And if you hear Leela Amrit, practically for last 2 3 months he did not eat anything, and still he was speaking. Same way we hear His Holiness Bhakti Tit Swami Maharaj, leucoma cancer, and his leg and hands were amputated, bones were breaking, but then still he's so joyful, happy practicing. So this shows that they have transcended their bodily platform. His Holiness Radha Govind Swami Maharaj, paralysis, but still he goes to one place in Vrindavan and for 2 3 hours meditates and cries, and then he says, मुझे लेके चलो यहाँ से, मुझे लेके चलो यहाँ से, and then he comes back like that. So you can see that how they have reached to that level because of their preaching, serving devotees, having relationship with devotees, and their intense practices. We see if anyone follows this, then actually he can develop this love for the Lord, the holy name of the Lord, the mercy of the devotees, and following the instruction of Prabhupada to assist in the preaching mission. Then they developed that love for the Lord and they reached to that level. Hare Krishna.